look at my reading companion. Toby, the reading companion. Hello everyone! So I read Words of Radiance and I wanted to make a vlog about the whole experience to share with you in case you want to re-experience reading this book for the first time, or you just like discussing the book or talk about the book. So yeah, let's go and read the book together. Hi, so I read the first part of the book and I need to talk about it because a lot happened actually. I think this book is more interesting because now there is like more conflict. It's more clear the kind of danger that is coming, and also because I know how hard it's going to be for Dalinar to do what he wants. It's definitely more exciting. Okay, so Dalinar is a kind of a warrior, right? He's not a good politician, and it shows. His plan is very risky, right? Also, Dalinar is trusting Kaladin so much. It just seems a bit strange, but I understand why he does it, but I don't know. If I was in his position, I'll be more suspicious, but who else can he trust? Everybody could betray him at this point, so I guess this is his best chance to choose a proper guard for himself and for the king. I can see that he's trying. He went to the other high prince and he was trying to convince him, and it never worked. Poor guy, he's not very experienced in politics. I hope Navani can help him more with this, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's more possible that everyone else kind of unites against him. So if he wants to unite them, he can do it by becoming the enemy himself, right? Then they can unite against him. Problem solved. And then Kaladin, I'm very curious how he's going to develop, how he's going to learn about his powers. His former prince is coming, the one who betrayed him. It's going to be interesting. And then there's Shallan, okay? Let's talk about that. What the hell? Yasna is not dead, right? I'm in denial. I've decided she's not dead because I was under the impression that she appears in the future book. Is she really dead? I really hope not, because I like her. I was shocked that they got attacked, and now Shallan's gonna travel with those slave traders. And it was cool how she kind of managed to act the part, like to be confident. That was nice character development, character moment. I'm looking forward to see what's gonna happen with her. Actually, I read so much. Like I was going to read one chapter to go to sleep, but I read a lot. And then we hit the interludes, and I was like, oh no, there's so many interludes. I wanna know what's happening. And I was tempted to skip them. I really was. I was like, oh, Brando, why? But I didn't skip them. I decided to go to sleep because it was past midnight. So now I'm going to read the interlude. The interludes are interesting. It's just that when they appear in the middle of something different, the urge to skip them is big. So for now, this book has much more punch at the start because things are happening more quickly. Also, I'm more invested with the characters. I know who they are. I know what they're fighting for. I'm curious what's gonna happen when Shallan arrives, because she's gonna arrive at some point, right? I want to see what's gonna happen with Dalinar's great plan. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see if and when he'll get to know about Kaladin's powers. Oh yeah, there's so much that can happen. And my guy said he's coming, which should worry me. Yeah, I should be worried, but I'm excited. I really hope he can be on our side, on the good side. I don't know. I hope he can be, yeah, whatever. Toby, say something. I just noticed something. I start reading. Actually, the first interlude is from the Parshendi warrior, right? I'm so excited. I really wanted to see her point. I mean, I wanted to see the point of the Parshendi, that their point of view. So I can't wait to read this. If I had realized last night that actually the interludes are from this point of view, oh my god, I wouldn't have slept. I've been reading a lot, and I thought at this point I have to film some kind of progress video because otherwise I will finish the book before I film anything. So I'm kind of past the midpoint, I think. Almost at chapter 53. A lot is happening in this book. I have a list of things I want to talk about. I'll probably forget something. Forgive me. So, I think last time I recorded, I was reading the interludes with the Parshendi. I really enjoyed the point of view. I really wanted to know what's going on with them. I was sure that there's something more going on with them rather than just like, oh, they're the bad guys. I like this Eshonai, but now I think she's not herself exactly. She went into the storm and she got new powers, and now she no longer wants peace. I was like, it's very interesting the way the Parshendi can change their shape, and when they change their shape, it feels like they change their entire personality. So now Eshonai is having like a different personality, and I feel like her previous personality was kind of nicer, but what is the real personality? If each of those shapes is who they are, then what is I don't know. I mean, she's now connected to the hatred and anger, and that's never a good thing. And I guess it leads her into being more aggressive. It's a bummer. Like, she really wanted to meet Dalinar. She wanted to find peace, but now suddenly she's feeling more powerful and forget peace. Yeah, that's how it goes. It was interesting to see their point of view and to see their cities and how their society works, and to understand actually why some of them are so calm and others are different. Their whole culture is quite interesting. I'm looking forward to know more about them. I miss Dalinar a bit. Like, we see him, but it's kind of, we don't spend so much time with him. I understand that we now spend more time with Shallan, and I love her parts. I just miss Dalinar a bit. There's something endearing about him. He's this big, tough warrior, but the way he was struggling, poor guy. I hope he's gonna get better. Yeah. Anyway, I like Seal, how she's joking and calling herself smart and beautiful. That's always fun. Let's go back to Shallan. Okay, so Shallan's storyline, it's so much more interesting than the first book. I mean, the first book was still interesting, but here we see like Shallan is meeting new people and she's leveling up. I really enjoy the way she started to get more confident, or pretend to be more confident. The way she was learning from the people she meets, like the way she learned from Yasna and then she learned from Tal. What's her name? Also, we saw her sword. I remember from the first book that she mentioned the beats of the heart. I remember that, and I was like, this girl, she has some sword or something, and the sword appeared, and now we learn more about her family, right? So I'm thinking probably her father didn't kill her mother, right? Maybe Shallan killed her. That would be too sad. And how did Shallan get the sword? Like, who was her mother's lover? And what happened there? There is so much questions there. Shallan's childhood is pretty messed up, and she's fairly okay for a person that comes from such a family. Of course, she lives in a bit of a denial, and probably she suppressed her memories and her feelings and everything. She lives in a big lie, and I wonder at what point everything that built up inside will just crack open. We'll see. Yeah, I super like her, the way she acts in front of everyone and trying to put different masks. I have a lot of thoughts about the characters in these books, but I'll make a different video for it, okay? This is just like my impressions while I read. Yeah, I enjoyed all the Shallan stuff. I like her bickering with Kaladin. She even made me like Adolin more because she was like, oh, he's so handsome. He's like la la la, and okay, maybe. But of course, the highlight was Szeth appearing. Is it Szeth or Szeth? I call him Szeth. It's easier for me. So Szeth appeared, and it was like so out of the blue for me. I mean, things were happening, blah, 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 and suddenly he's there, like, uh-oh. That was so cool. And the way he and Kaladin crashed, I was looking forward to that, but I just thought it's gonna happen later in the book. I guess they will meet again later in the book, right? I don't know, I just loved all about it. Like, he comes and just puts Adolin on the on the ceiling, and he's just doing his usual stuff, you know. And I love the way that Kaladin faced him, and when they fell out, and sorry. And then when Szeth realized that Kaladin also has powers, he just ran away. I just started laughing at this point. I don't know if this is the right reaction, but I was laughing. I was like, man, I was waiting for you to appear. Now you just run away. But the fact that he was so, I mean, he said that, oh, they lied to me and blah, blah, means that he was like, I want to know what's going on with him. You know, I just super want to know. And his chapter is like so much, like I haven't even read his chapter yet. I didn't skip. Okay, I wanted to, but I didn't. So I'm just really looking forward to see what's going on with him. He's probably upset. Will that change the way he behaves? Will he just now go and kill his masters and say, you bastards, you lied to me, I will do what I want? What's gonna happen? I want to know. And of course he and Kaladin should meet again, because Kaladin is like having his training montages, just walking on walls and learning slowly. He's not Mary Sue, okay? How was the male version of Mary Sue? Garijo? I don't know. So anyway, I super enjoyed that moment. I was talking about it to everyone I know. Another like moment that got me was like last night. Last night I was reading about Shallan. Shallan was sneaked in Amaram's house, and then she saw the sword. The moment she said that this is my brother's sword, and I was like, damn. Really, I paused my reading and I just took a minute to like take it in. I was like, of course, I forgot. It's definitely her brother, and Kaladin killed him, and this was like, oh, plot thickens. I love this. I love how more it gets more and more complicated, because she thinks Amaram killed him, but actually Kaladin killed him. This really makes things more complicated. So we'll see how that goes, if she's gonna find out. I guess she's gonna find out. Shallan and Kaladin, they have this kind of a bickering relationship right now. Let's talk about the Shallan, Adolin, and Kaladin thing. I'm pretty sure somewhere on the internet exists a fanfiction about them being in college, and Adolin being like the popular guy, and Kaladin being the grumpy nerd, and Shallan being the smart girl like Hermione, and them having love triangles. So yeah, I love their dynamic. Actually, I feel I need more of this, more of characters interacting, and more of the main characters dynamic being explored. I guess we're gonna get there little by little, because Shallan right now just becoming who she has to be, I guess. So Adolin is getting more sympathetic to me, okay? He was less interesting than the other characters. Of course, he had some internal conflict, and he was worried about his father and blah blah blah. But yeah, compared to Kaladin or Dalinar or Shallan, he was less complex, and I just like more complex character. But I think Adolin is also interesting in his own way, and yeah, I like him. His brother Renarin, poor guy. I sympathize with him a lot too. Like, I wish the poor guy would just stop trying to be a warrior and just be who you are. Just accept you're different and you have different abilities, and just become who you are. You don't have to be a warrior. You don't have to be like Adolin. Be happy, be yourself, wear your glasses, and forget about the swords and the fighting. But he's trying, okay? The fact that he went to Bridge 4 and he just wanted to be one of the guys, he was trying to be useful. Yeah, I feel bad for him. I hope he doesn't get killed, right? He's not, at first when he appeared, I felt like he's gonna get killed soon. But now I feel like maybe not. I don't know. I just want him to be himself. I mean, not everybody needs to be a warrior. It's hard for him living in the shadow of his super cool warrior brother and father, right? I wish we had more time with Navani. Her invention, I think it's gonna have some grand appearance later. I try to pay attention to things, because I now see that Brando plants seeds and everything just comes together. So now they're kind of planning to go into the Shatter Plains and basically attack the Pershendi. Dalinar's plan is, oh, it's going somewhere. I mean, it's not a bad plan. It was just not very promising. Shallan, poor girl. She's so brave that it almost feels like she's reckless. Like, she's going to do all these things by herself. She doesn't trust anyone to help her, but of course there's nobody to help her. There is just a few things that felt a bit odd to me, like how quickly Adolin just told her everything. He trusts her too soon. I know she addressed that in the text, but yeah, maybe he just needed somebody to talk to. And another thing, like, Shallan arrives and she's telling people how Jasnah has been killed and blah blah blah, and then there's Adolin smiling at her like, come on guy, now it's not the time to be smooth. I don't know, Adolin entertains me a lot. So yeah, I don't feel like anyone will die at the end, right? Maybe Sadeas. Nobody's gonna miss him all that much. I mean, he's a bastard, but I also enjoy his character. I wonder if this Odium guy will maybe learn more about him. So my predictions for the rest of the book is we will find out what has happened with Shallan's mother. I think that's kind of important. Like, who actually killed her? Did Shallan have anything to do with it? Others will find out that Kaladin is a Radiant, and maybe they will they start forming the new Knights Radiant at the end? Maybe. I guess there's gonna be some kind of battle with the Parshendi. I guess Szeth will come again. Now that he knows that he has been lied to, maybe he's gonna change his direction. I don't know. My secret desire is for him to switch sides, and maybe we will find out more about the people who tried to kill Yasna. Maybe she'll gonna come. Maybe she will appear at the end. I have a lot of questions, so I should stop talking and go read a bit. Okay, so last night I read about the tournament between Adolin and the other four. We need to talk about it. Okay, so when he said like bring whoever you want, I felt like this sounds a bit off, and it sounds like dangerous because that's so vague. But then everybody was saying, oh, he's gonna bring two. There'll be 2 against 1. So I was okay, maybe that's how it is. But then when the 4 of them appeared, I was like, ooh, and they start to beat him up. Poor guy. Like, I feel like I'm unfair towards Adolin. I always talk about him as if he's this funny character that I don't take too seriously, but I like him. I mean, he's this kind of, I don't know, like Prince Charming with the pretty hair, and he's super strong, but he's endearing in a way. Like, I was so worried about him because this was so unfair and such an uneven fight. The way Brandon does things is, even if he has very powerful character, he always manages to put them in situations where you really feel like they're in danger, and this really makes things so the tension is there. It's like so gripping, right? I love this because, of course, Adolin against 2, you'll be like, yeah, he's gonna beat them up, but against 4, that's really like a challenge for him. It will be a challenge for anyone, but even for him, even for somebody who is so overpowered, like who is so powerful, right? So when they attacked him and he was starting to lose, so I was like, please, Kaladin, just go and help him. This was at the back of my head, like, Kaladin, please go there and just kick their ass, okay? Because I just imagine Kaladin just going there and using Stormlight to throw them around in the air. Of course, I knew he wouldn't show his powers, but I knew that if he goes into the fight, he can really help him. But then when Renarin appeared, I was like, no, he really wants to help. He doesn't realize that with his desire to help, he can actually create more problems. I admire his courage, even if he should have not done that, but yeah, I understand why he did it. Dalinar was like, I'm gonna help him. And of course the king stopped him. And then Kaladin finally decided to help. By the way, I really like the Adolin Kaladin dynamic. The way they're like, I don't really like you, but you know, you're fine. I acknowledge that, but I don't really like you, but then I'm gonna save you. I have your back. I like this dynamic. I hope they get closer, like they become friends eventually. So Kaladin entered to help. And it was super cool how he managed to beat them, how he managed to use the helm, to use that against them. And it was not a quick win, it was still a proper fight. So well done. Oh, I just really wish this was a movie. But then, Kaladin, why? He just had to be stupid, right? He just had to be dumb. So in this moment, I kind of remember that actually Kaladin is so young. Like, sometimes I forget how young he is, because he's a very, he's a good warrior, he's experienced in battle, but he's still a very young man. And he's not very well in control of some of his emotions, maybe. Because if he was not so taken by this hatred, he could have been less stupid, right? He needs to manage this negative emotions inside of him. So now he's in prison. Amazing. I didn't expect that. It's a bummer, man. Why couldn't you stop talking. But also like the king is like, before he was just this whiny kid, but now he's becoming more and more antipathic. How is the word? I mean, at the beginning I could understand that he's inexperienced, he's afraid about his life, because of course after his father was killed, it's obvious he's gonna be a bit paranoid. Now he's a bit like trying to show that he is in power, trying to act up and stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't like you so much anymore. So Kaladin has problems to solve inside of his head. This negativity he has against light-eyed people, it's like not good. Obviously he has reasons for it, but saying, oh, all of these people are this and that, they're all vain and they're all like this and that, it's not good. So I hope he can open his mind a bit. I mean, I completely understand why he acts like the way he acts. I just hope he will overcome this hatred and this prejudice and this distrust he has against those people. Yeah, I hope he's gonna have more growth. But the fact that he's in prison doesn't really help, because the only thing the king did is just confirm his negative opinion of light-eyed people, right? Dalinar tried, but Dalinar is so fed up with everything. He just wants people to act the way they should, and it feels like he's already losing his patience. I understand also his point of view. It's like he knows in his mind what is right and what should be done, but then nobody else is listening. It's like you're the only mature person and everybody around you is like a whiny kid, and every kid is just arguing about their choice and not paying attention to what is important, and you're the only reasonable man in the room, and you're like, why I have to deal with this? It feels like that. It feels like there's no one around him that can actually help him with a bit of wisdom, and Shallan can do that. At least Shallan is like, she had a great idea, right, about the tournament and how they can use it against Sadeas. Navani, I think she's more good with science. Like, she makes this great invention, and she's described as kind of a bit of cunning, but she hasn't shown anything yet, like some kind of great political mind. Dalinar really needs a sensible person. Like, even Kaladin cannot be reasonable because of his emotions, and Adolin cannot be reasonable because of his emotions and sometimes his ego or stuff like that. I mean, they're trying, everybody's trying, but yeah, they're human, they have flaws. Anyway, I'm going on tangents here, but it was a memorable scene for sure. It was super exciting. And of course then he had to put this interlude, and I'm like, I want to know what's gonna happen. And then you pour me an interlude, more than 20 pages about a completely different character in completely different part of the world, and I'm like, that's my cue to go to sleep. You know my feelings about those interludes. They always kind of a bit annoy me, and then when I start reading them, they're actually super interesting. This switch between the main story and the interlude is always kind of like painful a bit. So I read actually like the beginning of the interlude. It was about this character Lift. She's fun. The way that she's using her awesomeness, it's kind of ridiculous, but it's fun. I like her. It suits the mindset of a younger person. Her spren, the spren is like, oh my god, I'm done with you. It's funny. I like this kind of fun dynamics between characters. But then I did something I shouldn't have done, but I did it. Shh. It was late at night, and I started reading about Lift. I knew I should go to sleep, but then I was like, I just really want to see a bit of what's coming next. And then I saw that Szeth is after that. Okay, I skipped Lift, and I just read Szeth's part. I was really tired, but I had to read it to sleep, okay? Now I'm gonna go back and read Lift's chapter, like, with a more clear mind, like, without hurrying up or stuff, but I just had to know about Szeth. And as I assumed, he's in so much pain. A moment of silence about his struggles. No, I'm sorry. I know sometimes I sound a bit unserious, but I actually really, really like Szeth's tragic situation. Right now, his whole world, his entire belief system is cracking, and he's realizing that he did all these kind of terrible murders for something that is false I feel like he will understand that whatever he believed in was not true and that he didn't have to do what he did. And how is he going to live with that guilt? He's already transformed his guilt into hatred towards the people that couldn't escape him, right? He hates them because he hates himself. His situation is just so compelling and so tragic and so interesting to me. I'm worried about him. But yeah, I read his very short chapter, and of course he's there where the city that Shallan is looking for. That place seems to be quite real, and he knows where it is, which it seems to be at the end of the world. Is it really there, or maybe this city was someplace else and then they moved it? Can this city be moved around? Is this city a space station? Because on the maps, on Shallan's map, this city had different locations, right? Is it possible that this city changes its location? Because it feels weird that the city is at the end of the world. So I was thinking maybe the city is somewhere close to Arrakis, because his people might consider somebody like Szeth to be a god, right? But did the Rock meet Szeth before, like some old version of him, or did he meet Hoyt, or who did he meet? I'm trying to just enjoy the story, but sometimes I'm just trying to connect the dots. But there's so many dots to connect that I feel like I can maybe connect them in 3 different ways, and I'll be wrong anyway. Another thing. It was fun when Shallan and Adolin and Kaladin went together on a date. Kaladin he's like so grumpy, and like these two, they're just so happy together. I cannot see. Oh my god, other people's happiness. I don't want to see it. At the same time, he's like, let me observe Shallan and make sure that I'm watching you suspicious lady. It was also funny that he acknowledged the fact that there's really nothing wrong with them. It's just him being grumpy. The guy has no life. I remember that he mentioned somebody else, right? Besides his brother. There's so much to know more about him. He mentioned somebody else he let down. Maybe I should just, take notes. I feel like when you read these kind of books, you should take notes. He mentioned somebody, let me write this name, so when it appears again after 1 billion chapters, I make the connection, I look smart. I'm just a casual reader, and now you're turning me into some kind of a fan. What I'm going to do, I think I'm falling in this rabbit hole a bit too fast. Also, I forgot to mention about the people who want to kill the king, and also Ghost Blood. So Ghost Blood are very creepy, and they seem very dangerous and ruthless. Their leader seems super creepy, so they're definitely quite dangerous. The other group, like the Patriots, the guys who want to kill the king, they just feel like people who want to protect their kingdom in their own way. Maybe not the best way, but their plot is kind of smaller. They just want a new king, but they don't seem aware of the grand scheme of things. But the other ones, they seem aware of Voidbringers and Stormlight and the Radiant Knights and everything. I wonder who is their leader, if they have a leader at all, or they're just a group of crazy people. Every time Shallan met with them, I was like, girl, just get out of there. Also, what is Amaram doing? Like, he has his own research. It feels like there's so many fractions, and each fraction has their own goals and their own secrets, and it's not quite clear who is working with whom, against what is their purpose. I'm quite curious how all those things are gonna come together. So I presume Kaladin might turn against the king. One thing I feel was a bit strange is that Dalinar should have spoken with Kaladin earlier. I understand he's busy with uniting the High Prince, and he has a lot of things on his mind, but if he asked about Amaram, if he made some kind of a small investigation, he should have faced Kaladin and tell him, like, I checked what you said, but my information is different. What really happened? Why you feel this hatred towards this man? Like, let's clear things up. Instead, he did nothing in Kaladin's eyes. So you have this guy who is your guard. Of course, he has shown loyalty to you, he has saved you and your son, but still, you place him so close to your family, to your loved ones, and you know that this person has a grudge against someone else who you're trying to be close with. Like, you should find a way to resolve this. I feel like if Dalinar didn't ignore this problem, Kaladin wouldn't have acted that way. So in some way, Dalinar also is responsible for Kaladin feeling like he has to find justice on his own, right? As usual, people should just talk to each other more, but they don't. Or we will have no story. I hope by the end of this book, characters will be on the same page. I'm especially worried what's gonna happen when Shallan learns that Kaladin killed her brother, or did he? Because maybe, I don't know, maybe he killed him after Kaladin left. Maybe the person that Kaladin killed was somebody else. I don't know. Maybe I should go and reread that moment from the last book. Maybe there was hints there. No, I will keep reading forward. Here is the reading buddy. Having a great time as usual. Hi again. So I got my cat here, but you can't see it. But if he suddenly makes some noise, just know he's here. I got the tea and I'm ready to talk about this book. Actually, I hope I can finish it today or tomorrow. Now it's Saturday, so it's a good point. So last night was Friday night, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna read a bit more. But I stayed until like almost 3 a.m. because I was so into the book that I just couldn't put it down. And then I was like, I have to sleep, but I just had to know more. Each chapter I read last night could be a separate video because so much is happening. Lift as a new character introduces completely different perspective, and we learn about her powers and how she's using Stormlight and how she's actually getting energy from eating. There is a lot to say about it, but just for the sake of keeping this video under 5 hours, I will just move on, okay? Then I read about a Parshendi, and it feels like they really have become quite dangerous. Eshonai, it's really not herself. She's so aggressive and violent. It's quite fascinating the way their personality changes with the shape they take, but maybe also the brand they kind of connect with. But now they're tapping into spite and other kind of negative emotions. They are becoming a real threat, a real danger, but maybe also to themselves. I mean, they will try to summon the storm, but what is going to do that to them? I forgot to mention that the city they live in. So this side of the story is also interesting about the ancient cities, about how were they made, where were they? Are they really this kind of doors that teleport almost from one door to the other? Like all of this history, it's very interesting. I was thinking a lot about where is this Uruturu, how is this name? I will have to practice this name. Okay, I was just so taken in by all the events happening, so let's talk about that. First of all, Kaladin was in prison and he didn't take it very well, of course. Who likes to be in prison? Nobody, right? He's basically sinking deeper and deeper into dark emotions and dark thoughts. And Adolin, I start to like Adolin more and more. I think it was great of him to stay in prison together with Kaladin. This was a big gesture of his side. It just shows that he's really like a honorable man, right? He's really a cool guy. I mean, he could be a bit vain and a little bit arrogant, but he's still kind of a good guy, you know. I mean, he feels like pure of heart, you know, just a cool guy, nice guy. Even if he was a bit annoyed at Kaladin at first, he's trying to be respectful and show him that he actually values his contribution and he values him as a person in some way. And he tried to give him the armor. Of course, Kaladin was like, no. But the fact he gave it to Moash, well, I was a bit worried. Like, are you sure? Let's see how Moash will take it, because so much power and status coming all of a sudden can really mess up somebody's brain. Moash is a person with a dangerous desire for revenge, and if you give him so much power, what he will do. For now, he's pretty cool about it, and he was happy. So yeah, but the fact that Kaladin now wants to help them kill the king, it's really not good. We saw how Syl took it badly because he's basically going against his word, and I really like this moral dilemma of honor. I mean, you gave your word to Dalinar and now you're going against it. Like, yeah, this whole moral questions are quite interesting. My tea will gonna get cold while I'm just talking. I'm trying not to drink too much coffee, so yeah, today's tea. So Kaladin is free now, and they prepare for this big attack against the Parshendi. And before that, they're going up to the Shattered Plains, so Shallan can do her research, but they can also like research the area, blah blah. And so the bridge collapsed. I was like, I'm just gonna read a bit and go to sleep, and then the bridge collapsed, and I was like, oh, forget sleep. I just have to read everything. Kaladin suddenly doesn't have his powers, but he fell in with Shallan, and so all this segment of them being at the bottom of the chasm, and that some monster attacking them, it was so interesting, and I was looking forward to something like this happening, like for some monster appearing similar to Shallan. I just wanted to see what are those creatures and blah blah blah. The fact that they finally kind of got together like for longer so they can talk more, and Shallan revealing her past and he revealing his past, and then trying to find the exit together, and they're bickering, and the way they were kind of joke with each other. Like, I think the energy matches so well because they can both understand each other and they both have this power, and it's just so interesting. It reminded me of some kind of adventure movie from the past with the creepy place, and both heroes have to work together to survive, but they have tension between them, and there's all these kind of secrets they tell each other, and then they kind of get closer together and they try to survive, and they're cute banter but also kind of deeper emotions. Like everything I like was here. Like, this was a cocktail of my favorite stuff in one. Kind of the sense of wonder and the sense of danger, and the people working together, getting to know each other, finding things about each other, bonding over their past trauma. I loved it. I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I just really want people to make a movie out of it. Even if I'm like 99 years old, I'm gonna wait for it because I've pictured it so well. Brando is not very, his descriptions are not very poetic or super hyper beautiful, but he manages to say enough for me to just picture things very well. And before I started this book, I went and watched this video where he was talking about how he got the idea for the Shattered Plains. So I saw the images that inspired this world, which kind of gave me more visual reference to also imagine it. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but I absolutely love the storms. I think storms, like nature, the power of nature, is so epic in itself. Every time I go to some really beautiful place, being in the mountains or by the sea or wherever, and when there's this amazing clouds, it just feels epic. So I love the idea of the storms. I love how they approach, and the winds, and all of this atmosphere. It's so cool. I love it. Everything. Just those chapters from the moment they fell from the bridge until basically the storm, when they when she cut the sword, the fact that she took off the sword, everything, like every page was perfect. I loved it, honestly. We finally learn about her father, and I really think this book's strength, it's not just that it has a great atmosphere, that it has a great world building, that it has a very clever and interesting plot. The characters are so relatable, and even they have these superpowers. The fact that they're so broken makes them so human, and just so touching. And I don't know, I just love it. Since last night, I'm just in I fell with them to the bottom of the chasm. And I'm just like, what did I do to myself? Yeah, I don't think I'm a casual reader of this. I think I'm too invested, and I want them all to be happy. I want to give them a hug. Everyone, you know, maybe not Sadius. Like, maybe for a second there, I was annoyed at Elokar. Of course, I don't think they should kill him, but I was kind of annoyed at him. And then a second after, I kind of see him from his mother's perspective and from Dalinar's perspective, and their perspective make me kind of see him as the, you know, this young man who is just really thrown into this situation that maybe is too big for him, and yeah, he's just a human, so of course he makes mistakes, and it's a bit too harsh to kill him just because he's supposed to do something that is too big. And it's so complicated. Now I'm gonna go back to the book. I'm going to reread the last 3 chapters I read since they were attacked. Yeah, I loved all the dialogue and everything they said to each other. I feel like it was appropriate, even if they kind of open up kind of quickly. I mean, they recognized each other's pain, and I love this kind of moments, like when 2 characters just look at each other and they know, like, I know what you feel. Maybe not this exactly, but I've been through shit and you've been through shit. And maybe other people don't understand this emotion, but you and I understand it. So I'm quite curious how their relationship will go from now on. Oh, Kaladin realized about her brother. So how is this gonna play out? Yeah, I totally prefer she ends up with Kaladin, but I feel like she's gonna end up with Adolin. Also, they're cute together. Like, I like Shallan with Adolin, but I also feel like her and Kaladin could have a more deeper connection because they understand each other. Whichever way they go, it's fine with me. Okay, maybe not. I don't want Kaladin to suffer. But even if Shallan and Kaladin are just very good friends, I just really love their dynamic, and I really like the fact that they can open up to each other about things that maybe other people could not understand about them. And I hope Seal comes back. Stormfather said she's dead, but I just hope she comes back. Like, enough blubbering. I'm going back to the book because I don't think I can move on with my life before I finish this book. Wish me good luck. I'm already losing my mind. So I went back and reread part of the chapters I read last night. And before I move on, I want to add a few more things. The chapter when Shallan killed her father, I don't know, it was a very dark moment. Like the way she basically strangled him with the necklace that he gave her. I feel it was like the most cruel thing that happened. But also, I don't know, it was very impactful because also the song, it was just so sad and tragic. You wouldn't expect Shallan to be capable of doing something like that. It was a very strong moment, but it was very uncomfortable, dark, tragic, sad moment. Her father was very cruel and he probably deserved that, but the fact that Shallan had to do it, and in this way, like, it was cruel both to him and to her. I mean, she knew she had to do it to protect herself and her family. She still loved him in a way. She still had those memories of when she was little, and just it was very tragic. Like, I don't want to go too deep into it. You know what I mean. I don't have to explain you feelings, right? And another thing I was thinking. So let's go back to the storm. The whole storm, the whole imagery, like the river and the bodies and everything is a very strong image. It was a very strong moment. And I guess the Parshendi was somewhere close, transforming, getting ready for the battle. And I really feel bad about Seal, and I was thinking, what can Kaladin do to bring her back? Maybe the way to bring her back is to regain his honor. He kind of broke his word about protecting the king and protecting Dalinar in a way. Maybe the only way for him to regain his honor is to save the king. Like, maybe he will choose to save the king and go against Moash. We'll see what's gonna happen now. I will keep reading and I'll update you about the things happening. Shallan and Kaladin are back. We learned from a pattern a bit more about the Spren. So I'm pretty sure Silk could be back if somehow Kaladin regains his honor. So I really think Kaladin will have to make a choice, difficult choice. And then Shallan and Adolin were reunited. That was very cute. And she grabbed that moment, she grabbed that kiss. They're very cute. So basically everyone is going on this quest. Let's see if Kaladin will join them or not. I don't know, because he maybe is not in the best shape to do it, so maybe he will be left behind. Okay, we'll make predictions later. So then I read the interludes, and there were 3 interludes. One was back in the capital, and some riots are starting in the city. It seems that the queen is not doing a good job. The king and everyone is busy with this war, so they're kind of ignoring their own country. The need for them to unite and to pay attention to the problems inside their country is getting bigger, no? Then we have Eshonai and her sister. We can clearly see that Eshonai is having an eternal battle, and it feels that this new skin, this new form, it's not who she wants to be. It's not who she really is in comparison to her sister, who seems to be like, oh yeah, this is what I wanted. So I feel like in the past they were inside this shape that was very violent, and when they renounced their gods, when they escaped, they changed their shape. Now it feels like they go back to that very thing that they try to escape. I feel like there's something in this line of thought. I don't know. And then we went to the Old King, whose name I'm not gonna even try to pronounce. Apparently he also had a wish, like Dalinar. Those wishes are quite interesting. I mean, the fact that you can get something, but there is always a catch, there's always a price to pay, and that some days he's super smart and other days he's super dumb. That's quite a fun idea. The king is there pretending that he's so very merciful and trying to take control of Yakavet. We kind of understood more about his reasons. Basically, it seems that there are two sides of this. Part of the people want to bring back the Voidbringers. They want to bring back what it was, and others want to protect the world from it. And those 2 fractions are kind of having their own goals. But even people who want to protect the world have their own vision how to do it. This king, he also wants to unite everyone, but by completely different, violent means. Dalinar wants to do it in his own way. So basically, maybe they all want to help to save the world, but their methods are quite different. Which goes back to the thematics of Way of Kings, like the goal cannot justify the means if the means of achieving the goal are so horrible, right? Yeah, this is all very nuanced. So Szeth appeared, and I was like, oh my god, he's now gonna kill him. But unfortunately, he decided that he should kill Kaladin instead of like break himself free. I guess it was inevitable for them to meet again and fight again, right? Why I sympathize a lot with Szeth, I think it has to do with the way he's being used, right? Maybe he's like a crazy fanatic, okay, but others are using his faith and his loyalty and his guilt against him, like he's being abused for his faith. You know, people who are very faithful, let's say, they're very dedicated to something, taking their faith and using it as a weakness to manipulate them and to make them do horrible things. It's just like, come on, like, who is the real monster here, you know? I don't say that Szeth is innocent, nice guy. He is not. I don't think he can ever be free of his guilt, maybe, but I hope he finds some kind of redemption, or at least he finds his freedom, or he kind of gets out of these shackles and people stop using him. I feel like the grand finale will be on the battlefield, right? It's gonna be between the Parshendi and Dalinar's army. When they return, they might be Szeth will be there and they have to face him as well. Or maybe they'll be simultaneously battle on the Shattered Plains, and then Kaladin versus Szeth. My head will explode. I'm too much into this already. Maybe I should have slowed down, but it's the kind of book that doesn't really let you breathe, and it just grabs you and you just want to keep going. I'll be back later. So Dalinar finally brought Amaram to Kaladin and revealed that he set a kind of a trap for him. Basically, Amaram revealed himself to be not a very decent person. He just walked away, so I'm worried if he's gonna try to do something or not. Like, it does feel like he thinks like he's doing the right thing. I like the parallel between Amaram saying that he killed those people because he thought that this sacrifice is needed for the greater good. This parallel to Kaladin coming to the conclusion that killing the king is for the greater good. So I feel like Kaladin now starts to see the flaw in this statement. I mean, Kaladin is struggling with this concept for some time, right? Even when we saw his past with his father, and his father was always trying to teach him about taking care of people and saving people, and it feels like Kaladin's purpose is to protect people and not harm them. Kaladin seeing the person he hates saying those same words and justifying his actions, it starts something inside of Kaladin. Maybe now Kaladin will rethink his own decisions and see that he shouldn't be killing the king, or he shouldn't allow others to kill the king. He needs to evaluate certain things in order to regain his honor, right? And regain his power and regain his connection to Seal. So, and also Moash is the one that is left to protect the king. I was afraid it's gonna happen. He and the others will try to kill the king, and Kaladin knows he's not supposed to interfere, but I feel like he will interfere. I'm not sure when, at what moment Szeth would appear. It could be at any moment. Honestly, he can appear any second, anywhere. I wouldn't be surprised, even in the middle of the battle or whatever. But I feel like he will appear later, like maybe towards the very end. Then Shallan finally revealed some things to Navani and to Dalinar, which is good. But she's still like unwilling to tell them about her connection to those ghost blood. It's like her thing, her research, her secret identity. Maybe she's afraid they will stop her some way, or I don't know. Maybe she should trust them a bit more. And also Shen appeared, so now they have some more insights. So they got some information about what's going on with the Parshendi. Maybe Eshonai's sister definitely knows something and she tricked everybody. But why? I don't know. We'll see maybe later on. I'm pretty excited about the finale. I even got some music, you know, the ambience music that they have on YouTube. And there is one that is just Words of Radiance ambience music with the storm and the rain. And there's another one with a little epic music. Sometimes I play music while reading, not always. But now I feel like maybe I'll play it a bit in the background. Sometimes it distracts me. Sometimes it's cool. We'll see. Tonight will be a long night. It's super late and I shouldn't be filming anything, but I finished the book, so my mind is loading. Dalinar went to fight the Parshendi and Kaladin was left behind. So Kaladin kind of regained his honor and his connection to Seal by saving the king, and then he flew to help Dalinar. I was feeling like this is gonna happen, so I was waiting for Kaladin to get his powers back. It was very action-packed and thrilling and exciting, and everything was awesome. The fight scenes and the storm, my mind is fried right now, but yeah, I loved it. The whole epical ending and the face-off. I didn't think that Szeth will actually die. I thought that maybe he's gonna get wounded or stuff, something like that, but he kind of got resurrected, kind of, you know. Of course, the face-off between Szeth and Kaladin was something I was really anticipating. I maybe wanted to have a moment with Kaladin and Shallan after everything that happened to them. Like, they're both Radiants, like maybe they could have exchanged a couple of words. Dalinar spoke with the Stormfather and he became his friend. That was like so cool. But maybe the highlights that are in my mind right now are the battle was great, all this chanting and the red eyes, and the Parshendi looked so menacing, and the whole atmosphere of the battle was amazing. And then Szeth appearing, it was so creepy and he was acting so menacing, and Adolin was having his moments, the way he found a way to fight the Parshendi, Eshonai appearing, then she fell, and then Shallan finding a way to open the gate, and they actually went to the city. That was so cool. And Szeth, I told you he's not gonna survive this book, but by the end of it, I was like, oh no, he actually survived this book. And then Adolin killed him. I was like, okay, that was a surprising move, but if you think about it, it wasn't so surprising. The guy was too full of himself. He was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take this kingdom, I'm gonna kill your father, I mean, shut up if you're gonna do this kind of stuff. Are you stupid? He's out of the picture now. There's bigger problems than him. So now we have the storms are back. The Percenti are going to turn. Oh, Yasna is back. I told you she's not dead. Oh, this guy that took Szeth under his wing, the guy with the moon tattoo, the darkness guy, whatever. He seems so cool and creepy. Kaladin's moments were one of my favorites as well. The way that he decided to protect the king, that was so cool. I mean, he lost all his strength and his power, but he was still fighting. That was really cool because you can see that his power and strength is not just the supernatural Stormlight powers. He's just powerful person. Like, he's a man of honor, a man of his word. I like the idea that they have to prove themselves in a way to have these powers. Even though Shallan's powers are kind of like really morally gray, that she might go in a really dark place if she keeps her other persona, and I guess she's gonna be tempted to do it. Oh, and there was the passionate kiss with Adolin. It seems like every book has a passionate kiss at the end, so who's gonna kiss next book? Renarin is now a Radiant too. That's cool. Now he has a bigger role, and maybe the other characters we saw are going to be the other Radiants. Lift and the other girl with the dragon. We'll see. Now I have to read the short story, right? I'm deep into this thing. I have to read all of them and maybe record a more logical video about this book. But yeah, it was the ending was really cool, really cool. Like I couldn't just stop reading. But I think Shallan saved everyone. But during the battle, I was more invested with Dalinar and Kaladin and Szeth and Adolin because they were fighting. She did a lot, like she solved the puzzle, right? But I was kind of sure she's going to find it. I trusted her abilities to do it. So I was not so worried about her or about her part in all of this. I was just thinking, oh, Shallan can do it. So I was more invested the other character's plotline at this moment because of course Kaladin had this internal conflict and he had to regain his powers and he had to fight Szeth, and Dalinar had to stay alive and he also had to navigate everything, and Adolin was also in the middle of everything, so I was more invested in their part. But when we found the city, I was kind of so happy because I was thinking, oh, Shallan would be so excited. We finally understood what happened with her mother. I wasn't surprised that she killed her. I thought that that's what happened, and I thought that maybe she did it by mistake when she was getting used to her powers, but I didn't expect that her mother attacked her because of her powers. Like, poor girl. Her family is really messed up. Her backstory is really sad. I mean, Kaladin's backstory is sad, but Shallan is like really tragic. Even Kaladin said that like he at least had parents who loved him. He had a loving family, and even his brother was positive thing in his life before he lost him. But Shallan, she lived this horrible life, and her brothers are also broken like her. They're all broken by those events. It's all because of her powers. It's like really shitty situation. So I think that's why maybe she's like a darker person, like she's a bit on the gray morals and she might do questionable things. I feel like, I don't know, she has more self-discovery to make. Also, we found from Amaram that his group of people wanted to get the Voidbringers back because they wanted to get the Radiance back and the Herald. So he wanted to create the Cataclysm. So, I mean, you people are all messed up. This guy is like, I have to save the world, so I have to like kill everyone. The other guy is like, I have to save the world, so I have to kill these people, or I have to create war, or I have to like, this is not how you save the world. Like, they're all messed up, and their way of saving the world, it's quite messed up. Like, I'm so worried about the goodness of this world. Let me kill a bunch of people for the good of this world. I'm just really just taking this burden for the good of these people. Like, shut up. Everybody is crazy here. By all this saving the world, there will be nothing left to save, but oh well, we'll see. At least Dalinar, I trust this guy. I mean, shall I trust this guy? I don't know. I want to trust this guy. Okay, this is a fantasy story, epic fantasy story, right? Heroic story. So let me just trust my heroes. So I trust this guy to at least use a better methods to save the world and not by killing this or that person, okay? I was actually glad that Kaladin chose not to kill the king and that he saved him and he wanted to really protect everyone. But a little thing, okay? He wanted to protect the king, but then he kills 2 people to do it. So it's like you cannot go around it, right? Anything you do is you end up killing somebody. Yeah. Too bad. Maybe just like go and grow potatoes and feed the people. Maybe it's a more noble thing to do. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have dreams of flying people, a bit like anime, you know, like the anime, they just have these big swords, or like in the video games, but especially anime, they just kind of jump and can fight in this a bit over the top way. If you make the fight scenes in anime style, it's gonna look cool, right? I really like this book. I really like the Words of Radiance. I didn't sleep very much reading it. I don't know, it's middle of the night right now. I can't wait to know what's gonna happen, to see how they're going to proceed from now on. What are they going to do? I guess Dalinar will meet that with that creepy king. What will the ghost blood want from Shallan? What she's going to do? She can change face, have a double life. Shallan, the radiant knight by day, and Shallan, the spy by night. Like Batman. I need to break.